It's the only lullaby I trust anymore, a relentless percussion against my window that smothers the city's jagged edges, the blaring horns, the wailing sirens, the low drone of lives grinding toward nowhere. Its brown noise wraps me like a tattered blanket, dulling the chaos just enough to let me breathe, to pretend I'm still whole. I'm Tom, 33, a scientist by title, though that word feels like a bad joke these days. To the world, I'm a glorified rat wrangler, hunched over cages of twitching rodents, charting their slow deaths for a paycheck that buys cheap wine, blackout curtains, and just enough silence to survive the hangovers. Ask my mother, and I'm a walking disgrace, squandering a Harvard degree on a fluorescent-lit purgatory that reeks of antiseptic and despair. She's not wrong, but snarks my armor, sharp, cutting, a gift from her endless lectures on wasted potential. It used to keep me sane. Used to. My job's simple on paper, the kind of gig that sounds noble until you see the blood under the microscope. I study a drug. Call it Compound X, because spilling the real name would unleash a pack of corporate lawyers faster than you can say non-disclosure agreement. It's a miracle cure, they claim, but in the rats, it's a butcher, carving out their insides organ by organ, leaving them hollow shells with eyes that beg for mercy. The work's tedious, the ethics a tightrope over a pit of quicksand, but the pay keeps the lights on, funds the Pinot Grigio I chug to blur the guilt, and covers the therapy I keep canceling. I'm sarcastic by default, a reflex to keep the world at arm's length, blame mom's voice in my head, or maybe the fact that staring into dying eyes all day leaves you with nothing but sharp edges. It kept me grounded once. Sanity's a ghost, slipping through my fingers like the rain outside. Sanity. Funny word, isn't it? I thought I had it mastered. 45-hour weeks, microwave dinners, the occasional bar crawl that ended in awkward goodbyes. It's too chaotic. Vacations? Sure, sipping cocktails on a beach sounds sane, the kind of normal you see in travel ads, all sunburns and fake smiles. I bought the script. Work, grind, repeat, call it a life. But that first night broke me open like a cracked egg. The rain was different, rhythmic, a coded pulse tapping the glass like a message from some forgotten corner of the universe. I lay in bed, half buried under a wool blanket that scratched like regret, staring at the ceiling fan spinning lazy shadows across the peeling paint. Exhaustion, I told myself, 12 hours of data sets and dissected rodents will do that. But then the whispers started, tiny and needling, weaving through the downpour like threads of static. Just syllables at first, nonsense I could blame on wind or neighbors' chatter. I pressed my pillow over my head, the fabric muffling the world, but it didn't stop. If it had, this would be a short story, a footnote in some sleep app's FAQ. It came again the next night, sharper, slicing through the fog of cheap Merlot I'd used to drown the day. Then the next, always worse after late shifts, hours spent watching fur slew off in clumps, eyes glazing like frosted glass. My own eyes burned, sockets aching like they'd been scraped raw, and I started wondering if the rat's misery was contagious, or worse, if Compound X was leaking, seeping from cages into the air, crawling up my nostrils, nesting in my brain. I'd stand at the lab sink, scrubbing my hands until they bled, half convinced I could smell the drug on my skin, acrid and metallic, like pennies left in the rain. Paranoia? Maybe. But the whispers didn't care about logic. The break came during a thunderstorm that shook the city like a vengeful god, windows rattling, lightning slashing the sky into jagged puzzles. I didn't just wake, I slipped sideways, out of reality as I knew it, into something sharper, more real than real, a world hiding behind the one we're taught to see. Every detail burned. I could see the veins in my eyelids, blue rivers pulsing with secrets. The rain? Threads of glass, each drop distinct, falling in slow motion, shattering on the sill with crystalline precision. The whispers turned to words, clear as a blade, and I understood them completely. They spoke of me, what I was, what I wasn't, what I'd never be. They peeled back every lie I told myself, that the job was just a job, that the rat's suffering didn't matter, that society's grind was noble. The world was a machine, vast and indifferent, its gears grinding lives, rats, humans, all of us, into dust. My mind, A locked vault of denial, cracked open, and I held the key, cold and heavy, in my trembling hand. Time dissolved, minutes, an hour? It didn't matter. I was hypersane, a term I coined later, because no diagnostic manual captures this. It's not madness, it's clarity so profound it's agony, where you see too much, understand too deeply, and can't look away. Patterns emerged like neon fractals. The rats' deaths mirrored the stock market's dips. My mother's disappointment echoed in the lab's funding memos. Compound X wasn't just a drug. It was a crowbar, prying open doors in the mind evolution had sealed for a reason. Then it ended, sudden as a guillotine. Rain dulled to drone, whispers faded to static, and I was flung back into my body, a pilot in a crashing plane, controls useless. I staggered to the bathroom, flipped the light, and stared at my reflection. Same muddy eyes, same smirk, but hollowed, older, like I'd aged a decade in an hour. Something had shifted, a fracture in my core, and I didn't know if it'd ever heal. Hypersanity hits like rogue waves now, unbidden, relentless. Sometimes I feel it brewing, a pressure behind my eyes, a prickle at my skull's base, like the world's about to split open and spill its guts. Other times, days pass in a fog of low-grade paranoia, a sense I'm watched, not by cameras or coworkers, but something less human, slithering through perception's cracks. The lab's a crucible, amplifying the descent. The rats know, their black eyes bright with accusation, tracking me like they see the fracture too. In hypersane moments, they're not just prisoners but witnesses, they're suffering a code I nearly crack. Chitters forming pleas. Free us, let us rot in peace. Their pain speaks a language of despair, and for fleeting seconds, I translate it, my own guilt echoing in their squeaks. I fake normalcy, slathering snark like war paint. Crack jokes with texts over stale coffee, fire sarcastic emails to the suits, play the cog in the machine. But at night, when the rain drums its old grudge, whispers creep back, sharp as rust. I'm not sane, not the kind that clocks in, files taxes, dreams of beach resorts. I'm a receiver, tuned to forbidden frequencies, catching signals from a place we're not meant to hear. And I don't know how long I can keep pretending. Morning comes, soaked to the bone, the sky a bruised cold front pressing the city flat. My umbrella gave up blocks ago, ribs snapped like promises, leaving me to trudge through rain that stings like judgment. Carla, the receptionist, mid-40s, perm-defying physics, eyes dulled by years of clock-watching, raises an eyebrow as I drip across the linoleum, pooling water like a crime scene. Rough night? She asks, half pity, half amusement. Only sleep when I'm dead, I mutter, shaking off, the line stale but reflexive. She chuckles, maybe out of kindness, maybe glad her desk spares her the cages and corpses. The lab's an icebox, HVAC cranked to Arctic, a chill that burrows into your bones. Cages line the walls, wire and despair grid, each rat tagged, number, dose, doom. My job, track Compound X's carnage, log the rot, livers dissolving, hearts faltering, without getting attached. Except for the eyes. I slip into scrubs, stiff with starch and guilt, and start rounds. Greg, my assistant, late 20s, headphones blasting synth pop like it's 1985, hammers spreadsheets, head bobbing. Morning, Tom, he says, not looking up. You look like hell. Just my face, I quip, grin heavy as lead. He snickers, dives back into data, and silence falls, broken only by claws scratching mesh and the ventilation's hum, exhaling our collective dread. I scan logs, check for distress, hunched backs, shallow breaths, pushing last night's whispers deep. But Cage B-17's rat goes berserk, gnawing bars to splinters, teeth chipping like porcelain. I kneel, I level, and its gaze hits like a slap. Recognition, accusation, pity. The world tilts, a funhouse lurch, and a voice hisses in my ear, "You're not supposed to be here." I reel back, cage rattling, nearly toppling. Greg glances up, frowning. "You good?" "Yeah," I gasp, ear rubbing the echo away. "Rat startled me. Death wish." He shrugs, back to numbers, but my pulse jackhammers, the whisper too real, too close. The day blurs. Files, notes, monotony a shield against the cracks. But shadows flicker in corners, lights falter, thunderclaps echo like skull hammers. Whispers return on long blinks, murmurs in a half-remembered tongue. Lunch, limp bologna sandwich, one sad lettuce leaf, mustard burning my sinuses. Greg drones about fantasy football, trades, scores, macho math. I nod, toss a quip about hamsters outscoring his quarterback, faking attention. Inside, I'm screaming, room shrinking, fluorescence bleaching my eyes. Bathroom break, splash cold water, mirror catching me, eyes predatory, a sharper me clawing behind glass, waiting. Clock out, storm's a beast, wind whipping rain like lashes. Home hunch under broken umbrella, puddles reflecting neon, reds, blues, bleeding like wounds. Head throbs, sounds amplified. Tires, horns, my soul's wet smack. Whispers surge as I unlock my door. See too much. They know. Get out. Slam it shut, breath ragged, apartment dark save for streetlight fractured through rain-lashed glass. No lights. I stand, storm and voices my only company, waiting for reality's snapback. It doesn't. Bed, shoes on, damp clothes clinging, ceiling spinning. Sleep's a myth, whispers warn, urgent static. Hypersanity hits, room explodes, plaster cracks map regrets, paint flecks whisper sins. Faucet drips tales, ancient aquifers, volcanic births, cursed minerals. Thunder's a galactic siren, static from a star-devouring dust cloud, warning, flee or unmake. I see it all, rat's agony mirrors ours, compound X a crowbar to forbidden doors, my log's a lie hiding monstrosity. Company's a facade, burying truth in budgets. Sweat-soaked I sit up, whispers fade to rain. Dawn's yellow smear creeps through clouds. Routine stumbles, teeth bleed, coffee bitter, razor nicks jaw, cursing. Mirror, older, eyes purple-ringed. Work's gauntlet, storm raging, glass doors shuddering. Carla slides HR forms, compliance audit, eyes flicking to cameras. Wonderful, I deadpan. Maybe we'll flood, free wash. No laugh, maybe she hears echoes. Labs hushed, staff gone, storm blamed. Just me, Greg, Dr. Lard, 30-ish, coat crisp, handshake pain. Tom, degradation studies. King of dead rats, I grin fake. Revolutionize or gawk? Both. Tour, chart spike doom, freezer hum samples, logs betray. His questions cut deep, dissecting me. B17 lingers, rat fetal, breaths thin. Anomalies. Usual rot, I lie. All die lard. How why? Thunder sinks pulse. Lunch, solo, break room dim, storm roaring. Notebook patterns, spikes, troughs cover up screams. Numbers glyph, lights flicker, hum teeth deep. Whispers slither, digging. Loose end. Stop. Table grip, knuckles white, static swallows. Ditch lunch, rats frenzied, claws morse. B17's dead, eyes voids, lips twitch Gregory. Greg finds me, ghost? Tired, I snap, gloves bend. Wrap it. Sign out, rain slack, sky bruised. Home, sidewalk cracks counted, paranoia trails. Footsteps? Shadows? Couch collapse, TV storm news flickers. Whispers taste my name, Tom, Tom. Thunder jolts, drift half dreams, mom's voice, profs, my sneer, undone. Dawn texts Greg, early, quiet. Walks blur, rain slap, metal air. He's closet huddled, eyes hollow. Archive room, mildew, paper death. Code shaky. Trials, memos, notes. Box, pilot logs. Numbers scream, fast deaths, odd behaviors, neurological lies. Margins, auditory premortem. They knew, I tell Greg. Thunder shakes, whispers roar. Copies, I hiss. Door creaks, shadow. Files bagged, maintenance stairs. Landing, hypersanity slams, sweat diamonds, light code. Voice, run. Bolt rain-soaked, blocks away, lungs fire. What now? Greg gasps. Read. Uncover. Survive. Apartment cave, lamp jaundiced, files fanned. Lightning strobes, hours blur, words swim. Whispers guide, hypersanity full, connections neon. Charts, autopsies weave, rats hear pre-death, compound X triggers, doses key. Hand scroll stops, survives auditory, phase shift, cognitive reorganize. Hyper-awareness, paranoia, watched, patterns, escalations. No human trials. No phase 3. Allowed, Greg. Nod, room warps, lamp halo, clock accusation, breath thin. Drug shatters perception, rips mind, see all, never all. Logs flash, longest rats hypervigilant, mimicking human squeaks, eyes desperate. Not hallucinations, I say voice foreign. Boundaries shatter. Greg shudders, breaks, kills. Lightning, clarity terrifies. Company new, buried, threatened. Drug controls, reshapes, not heals. Human trials off books, I gasp. We're not first. Greg, public, stop. Hypersanity ebbs. Note clutched, thunder vast. Beginning. Night engulfs, files clutter, Greg window peers, headlights phantom. No social, bury us. Right, company deletes. Hypersanity low, path clear. Reporter, bridge burner. Greg, science writer, nailed them, shut out. Files, he'll run. Phone shoved, call. Pace dial, photo pages, digital ghosts. Whispers shift, my voice, forward. Call ends, tonight, alone. Backpack originals, Greg fear hope, sure. No choice. Storm slip, city deserted, rain swallow. Cars skin crawl, faces glass ghosts. Diner grimy, eternal open. Car idols dark, booth, hood shadow. Fingers drum formica. Eyes hungry, something. Slide booth, file spill. Hands shake flip, mouth grim, big. Whisper, they'll hunt. Sure. Promise, everything. Names, dates, cover. Nod, they will. Files left, storm step. Greg, find us. Move, no home. Together, whispers worse. Out. Lightning, thunder diner rattle, lawyers knife sharpen, power grind. Not afraid. Hypersanity connects, truth cuts. Ghosts rain city, story tears. 2 days, headline scream, whistleblowers expose pharma dangerous trials. Files grainy, lab shots, ethicists I never reached. Reporter delivered, execs resign, stock plunge, threats inbox flood. Face TV blurred. Contact underground, we too. Motels cash, locks double, Greg jumps, I routes you. World turns, rain drizzle, city exhales. Inside, storm worse. Hypersanity waits, eyes close, webs meaning, shadows secrets, wood knots faces. Whispers gentle, hurricane failures. Night, Greg finds me pacing motel, muttering. Tom, not sleeping. Here, stop look, rational clause. No, close lost. Head hands, C2 no 2. Drug changed rats, overdrive. Normal? Gone. Crouch, not crazy. Blue whistle, right. Laugh, madness one. Shoulders grip, still you. Words echo cling. Window sit, clouds break, star peak. Whispers, not drown. Anchor, snark, scientist end. Days crawl, investigators call, suits file, company wounds, dying. Machines churn, new drug, trial, are due, attention pays. Greg job offer, take. Deserves thunder fear free. Watch leave empty. Anonymous, odd jobs, head down, daytime live. Tasks anchor, hypersanity rides, world splits, too much. Routines, facts, hope outlast. In nears, saw rats see me.